Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'll be your moderator, Brandon Jones. Joining me this week, panelists Ian Hink.
Oh, hi.
Brad Ellis.
Hi.
And my co-moderator, Daniel Bloodworth. You know.
Hello.
He's co-moderator. Nothing to get too excited about. He's just a normal guy.
You want to fight about it?
Yeah. Distinguished guests, we are here to do some love and respect, baby. Woo!
Yeah, there's no corrections because nobody's had time to correct us.
No bets.
We won't know until next year what we got wrong.
No, nothing. Yeah, can we corrections from the love and respect episode? There's got to be at least a couple. I don't remember those
Don't
specifically.
give them ideas.
We'll make sure of it.
They can have whatever ideas they want, and I can ignore them if I feel like it. This is a special Love and Respect episode of the Easy Allies podcast. This was recorded last week. You are seeing it this week. Actually, Merry Christmas to everybody that is for early access members that is watching this on December 25th. For everyone else, Happy Holidays and Happy New Year coming up. But we recorded this last week, so there's no news, there's no requests, there's no corrections, there's no bets. There will be a silver lining, though, right at the top here. From Francisco. Sebastian Deep Knight Bernard, one of the former lead devs on the game Dead Cells, has been building LDTK, the level design toolkit, all by himself for the past several months. He's been looking to make the process of making 2D games significantly easier and more accessible to everyone by making game creation almost as easy as using MS Paint. His project has been in beta, but is getting really close to a full release. Moreover, it's all completely free. Who knows if this will lead to someone accomplishing their dreams or making a future great game, but it's always cool to see the process of making video games more accessible to everyone.
Cool.
Thank you, Francisco,
Dude, this
for
looks
that.
sick.
Boom.
Nice.
Ian's checking it out right now, yeah.
I'm stoked about
Doesn't
this.
sound
Wow.
neat? Yeah.
That's a silver lining there.
Ian,
Yeah, no, this looks really cool.
get to work. Okay?
I love stuff like this.
Get off your ass.
Yeah,
making
quit being
some
lazy,
games, okay?
Ian.
You don't have to tell me, man. I wanted to have an album done by now. Like, everything's falling apart, Jones.
What haven't you written more music for Easy Update than like The Doors wrote?
I definitely wrote more than 80 songs
Yeah, that's
for Easy Update.
That's a
I
lot.
don't know if that's more than The Doors.
they were only around for like 3.5 years, so that silver lining was at our $5 and above tier, and along with the rest of all of this love and respect stuff, this is our $5 tier on Patreon. We have a lot of submissions. I'm going to try to get through as many of them as possible. We never get through all the love and respect submissions that people give us. I'm sure people were saving them for this. I have put a lot in this doc. I will stop talking about it so we can get to them, but just want to let people know if we don't get to yours, it is not because we don't love and respect you, and we definitely appreciate your support on Patreon. Let's do it.
Love and respect.
Next Gen Hef's going to kick us off. Love and Respect 2020 update. Which comes first? Hi, guys. Close to a year ago, I had Kyle ask you... Kyle. Oh,
What,
Kyle.
is that a
Right.
name?
Yeah. Bossman. Which comes first? Let's look back at what I asked, what you guys picked, and how did you guys do? Feel free to award points. Bleh. Kudos or werehogs. Bleh. To those who guessed correctly. Number 1. Which comes first? A game announcement from WB Montreal or Rocksteady? Jones and Brad picked WB Montreal, and Damiani picked Rocksteady.
Wow.
Yeah, while a tease for Rocksteady's game came a few days before, WB Montreal got their first dibs on the announcement the day of.
They
really
both happened the same day, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Right? Yeah.
technically, when they
So-
a game announcement, I mean, like, but didn't technically announce it, but WB Montreal was just teasing that forever.
Forever.
Right.
Rocksteady really didn't say anything. Some people thought it was Justice League. Superman did turn out to be in that. Number 2, which comes first? A game reveal of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, Final Fantasy 16, or a new Kingdom Hearts?
Wow.
We all picked Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. We were all wrong because a new Kingdom Hearts game was announced and released in that time. And we got a gameplay trailer of Final Fantasy 16. Still no word yet on Remake Part 2, or even if it's called that.
Yeah, what will that thing be called?
Don't
It'll
know.
be called like Requiem of Dissonance or something.
This is a tricky one. Which one comes first? A game reveal of the next Witcher or Half-Life 3?
This is tricky?
It's not Half-Life 3, but we did get another Half-Life. And we are currently dealing with
yeah.
a
That
severely...
doesn't
We really didn't
count.
get either one.
Yeah. Panel
didn't
picked the next
count.
Witcher. This one's still undecided. Number 4, which comes first? A new Shin Megami Tensei 5 trailer or a Persona 6 reveal?
Oh, Well, yeah, that
SMT5,
Persona hadn't happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
Panel did not take the bait and picked the SMT5 trailer. I was surprised that we did not only get a new SMT5 trailer, but also a release date.
Yeah.
Number 5, which comes first, a Nintendo Switch successor or a PS5 or Xbox Series X Slim? Damiani picked the Slim versions. I would
This is not happening this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think maybe the rest of us didn't say that was ever going to happen. I would not consider the Series S the Series X Slim version. It is not. It is not exactly capable of the same performance as the Series X. So we're still waiting on those, but rumors point to a new Switch next year. We will see. Number 6, which comes first?
They did last year.
They did the year before.
Yep.
Which comes first? A perfect 10 from Easy Allies or a Sonic for a Sonic game or a sports game? The panel picked Blood to give a racing game, which according to the Game Awards is in the same categories as sports games, a 10 first. The only 10 throughout last year did not come from Mr. I'll Do 10's Brandon Jones, which is 100% excusable due to having a kid and moving during a pandemic. Still looking forward to 2021. For me to drop a 10, we'll see. I don't know.
What do you like? What like you were too busy to give something a 10?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm Mr. I'll Do 10's Brandon Jones. But for Mr. Ben Moore for Half-Life Alyx, and the closest a sports game got to a 10 last year also came from Ben, a 9 for Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And we are still waiting for a new Sonic game. Number 7, which comes first? Joker news ends or Kyle gets a new nickname? Panel picked Joker news to end. Panel was correct. Joker news did end first. Still waiting on the Joker fan resurgence with Joker 2. All jokes aside, thank you guys for reading this. Hope you have some happy holidays. Love and respect. Next Gen Half. From Ian Alexander. Hello, allies. What's your favorite thing to do in games, and which game does that the best? For me, it's making decisions. This year, I found that Crusader Kings 3 is basically the ultimate decisions game. All you do is make decisions. It's not my favorite game, but it does my favorite activity really well. This is a tricky one for me.
I mean,
I had time to think about this.
Using the Blades of Mercy
Oh, stop.
in Bloodborne.
Very specific thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, as good as Sekiro is, I was surprised. Yeah, I went in there, no Blades of Mercy. No,
they added it.
no beasts.
Decisions is definitely.
Did they really?
up there.
No, they did not. You gotta be one damn weapon in that game.
I'll believe any Souls news that comes out of your mouth, Brad.
I'd have to probably say like alternate paths / shortcuts kind of thing, and I've enjoyed a couple of times where I've come across that in Cyberpunk. I think it's very much a Deus Ex thing. I think Deus Ex Mankind Divided still, when I had been through some of those levels like several times and then find out like, oh, there's like an area above all of this too. Yeah, I think that's probably the best in terms of giving you a lot of different options and going to the same area.
I got 3 things that come to my brain that I love in games. Shortcuts, stealth kills, job systems.
Job systems are so good. I mean, I guess I just like immediacy. So stuff like Souls are really good at that. But yeah.
Mine is most definitely...
Oh, no, my phone just like popped up a notification from Twitter saying, try following Bloodborne.
Whoa.
What timing?
Yeah.
Do it, Blood.
Bloodborne's ears were burning.
What do you got, Jones?
Mine is definitely just exploring open worlds, which is why I love Rockstar so much. It's just why I just love, like, what the hell is that over there? Had a great moment in Valhalla where, like, I had to, like, go to a town and some guy was like, I gotta go have dinner with people. And he's like, can you follow me for dinner? And it said, like, wait till nighttime to do dinner. And thankfully you can meditate in Valhalla so I can skip ahead. But I followed the guy and he went to the town and got off his horse and walked over and walked into the building. I was like, I love that stuff.
Could you then go in and have dinner with him?
It's not dinner time. I had to meditate. He meditates and like the camera floats around him and then they load the world while the cool sound effects happen. From Megan Linhart. With the new year coming and recently getting the update from Telltale that Wolf Among Us 2 is still very much in development, and also they seem to be creating the entire season at once. For me, the excitement couldn't be any higher, Wolf Among Us being one of my favorite games ever made. I'm hoping everything goes well. Where do you guys sit on this currently? Do you guys have any predictions on what the game will look and play like, and where Telltale Games will go from here?
I realize that Telltale Games are an answer to last week's question of getting through a game that's super buggy.
right?
Oh, good
Yeah.
point.
But Wolf Among Us 1 I could not finish because on my PS4, 3, whatever.
Probably 4.
Yeah, it didn't run very well.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Fair.
But I mean, that was
don't.
cool.
Yeah, I don't have experience with the first game, so I'm not really too sure. I mean, I've definitely played some other Telltale games. Really glad to hear that they're, just finishing it first, because I
Yeah.
think that's really hurt the, episodic games like the Telltale games and Life is Strange, where like, okay, this episode's done and the next one will come whenever we finish it. Yay!
Yeah.
And like, that's not helpful. Like, I'm cool with a couple of weeks, but not like some of these things will take 5 months, 6 months sometimes. It's like
Kentucky Road Zero probably has the
Yeah.
record on that one. Technically, they're acts, but
right.
I think it was in Polygon's top 10 of the year. Ian, it was pretty close, pretty
Which
up
one?
there. Kentucky Route Zero. I think it was like number 4 or
Act
3
5?
or something. Just the whole, just like the whole.
oh yeah,
The-
it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, some dedicated person holding on to that, being like,
Right.
"Hey, put this on the wall. We got to remember whenever they finish it, it has to get the recognition."
Has to get it.
I didn't finish it either. I'm way behind on my Telltale. There were a lot of stuff, lots of stuff that I wanted to check out, but I'd be astonished if they didn't keep the same visual style or just like don't. You
I think
can
it'll be very familiar.
do funky stuff.
Yeah.
If this game works out well and you're happy about the license, then break the rules. But like just
I mean,
don't rock the boat, man. Just get that
Well,
game
they're
out.
using the new engine though, right? Because I hope for their sake they are.
Yeah. But even if like no new gameplay mechanics were introduced or something, if it was just like a continuation, if I could just fans could pick up where they left off and keep going with those characters, and hopefully all the whole cast comes back. Umair Zafar, hey Elias, what's the coolest you felt playing a video game? I remember during my senior trip in high school at day camp, they had a PS3 with MK9 set up. I had spent 200 hours playing that game, but had since stopped. I got in line just thinking I'd play casually. Well, the person I was going up against said the magic words, "Hey man, watch out, I'm good at this game." I picked my main, Scorpion, and said nothing. I perfected him 2 rounds and followed up with a fatality. He asked for a salty run back. I picked Jade next. 1 perfect round and a fatality later, I put the controller down and said, "I'm pretty good too." I felt like a badass walking away from an explosion instead of a dork walking away from video games. I wanted to ask, have you ever felt like you just crushed someone or something in a video game and felt cool as hell? Love and respect, Umair Zafar.
Oh.
I don't know.
I mean, I've told this before, but it's been a while. When I was in Japan with Chris Wen, back in the Game Trailers days, we were in an arcade in Japan, and Chris Wen was going to play DDR, and then this local guy comes up and has like the water bottle, the stuff, and gets on there, and they go up to the same machine, and they like see each other. They kind of like acknowledged each other. And Chris let the other guy pick the song, and they both picked, expert, whatever, some hard difficulty. And Chris just mopped the floor with this guy. And then the guy, as soon as it was done, he just gathered his stuff and left.
That's the best
And we
part
were
of the
both
story.
just like, we were all just like looking at each other
Man.
like, oh my God.
that guy's
you
never going to
destroyed-
dance again.
Yeah.
He thinks
you
about it to this day.
destroyed
He
this
goes back
man.
into that arcade every day and tells the story. He tells
I felt so
Yeah.
bad for that guy.
There
Like, I
was a
still
guy
feel bad.
on the console you're on now. Best player I've ever seen.
Best player I've ever seen.
I've told this before that at Blockbuster we just like took home all the Nintendo 64s when like all my friends worked at Blockbuster, and so they were like, "Oh, we rent out the consoles," and like, sorry people in my hometown, you were not getting a Nintendo 64 at that time, and they had it at my friend Mike Buddy's house, and they were playing a ton. I think I was busy and I couldn't get there to check it out, and they were playing a ton of Super Mario 64. And I think I like played a little bit of it, or I was around while they were playing it, but it's just like I was just enjoying a new console. I didn't really feel. It took a long time for me to like get into Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye and stuff. But there was like one big night where we were gonna go and play a bunch of new stuff, and I went over and they were like, "We're at the end. This is like the end of the game." And they're like, "We can't figure out. You got to grab Bowser and like swing him and like throw him at something." And they're like, "We can't figure out. Like, Jones, can you do this?" beat him, dropped the controller, walked away. Like, cool.
Damn, dude.
Cool game, guys. It was like first time I'd ever played Mario 64. First try, beat Bowser. It's like, nice. There was one, Bobby Burns, good old Bobby Burns at Game Trailers. It was when
Love
the
Bobby
second
Burns.
Trials came out. I don't think it was the first Trials. Might have been the first Trials. But I remember having experience in Trials. I think it was the second one. And there was something where there was a ball that was rolling down and you were in the ball. And so you had to like keep, like American Gladiators, not American Gladiators, but you keep having to like do the Thunderdome, like just, ride around. And you had to change your pace of that you were racing like with the ball. And you had to get past a certain score. And I like walked by and Bobby Burns like challenged me. He was like, wait, you play a lot of Trials, try this. And I was like, all right. Did it. And I was on my way to like Shane's office or something, and so I just put the controller down the table and walked away without saying anything. Memories. Anybody else, Brad? You feel like a badass every time you play a game, right?
No, I don't. I can't think of anything really.
I mean, just smaller things like playing a game that you feel like you're good at.
Yeah.
Like Souls games or something. It just feels good without shaming anyone else. Like
Finishing a Hitman level without anyone seeing you feels real good. I can't recall actually ever even doing it, but I remember the first Hitman game, I finished a level and like right as I was about to get in the car, it's like they found a body and I was like, good for them. See ya. I'm out.
Good for them.
Yeah.
First trying to boss.
I hope they catch the guy who did it.
Yeah, I can only think of I bet I can't think of a specific instance, but I just think of stuff like, something like Burnout Paradise or Need for Speed Most Wanted, the whatever remake, whatever year that was, and just like some of those things where like you can get like a crazy drift and then fly up into the air and smash a billboard and just like, I feel like chaining things together in one way or another is when I feel the coolest.
Beating Bloodborne felt pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wasn't expecting that.
Getting that plat.
Did not do that.
The witness plat felt real
Oh
good.
my
Nice, yeah.
gosh. That's
The witness plat.
That's not so much I feel cool, it's just like the sense of relief.
So done. Yeah,
It's
glad
so
to be done. That challenge room is so hard.
From Alexander Zirianov. Hello, allies. What's the best game you've never played? Best game you've never played? Mass Effect 2, probably for me. In terms of
This
something that
feels-
like I know I want to.
That's a good one.
People
feels
are
like a
always just
trap.
like,
There's so many though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've played all the good ones.
I've been
you know?
meaning to like go back and try one of the Baldur's Gates at some point. The original
Yeah.
Fallouts I haven't played.
I was thinking of New Vegas. Yeah. I haven't
Oh
played
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You've never played New Vegas? It's
Mm-mm.
pretty good. You just have to go through life like I do, where you believe yourself to be the arbiter of good, and so things can't be judged good until I've played them.
Ah,
and-
okay.
And determined it.
I've never really played that much of that Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door.
Oh
one of the-
yeah.
I never
Me
played that
either,
either.
dude.
I never played
Great
that.
point, Blood. We got the same
That might
holes
be
in
the
our
one.
catalog.
oh, everybody
That
does.
might be the one.
I got holes in my 2020 catalog.
That Vagrant story. Yeah, there's a lot.
Vagrant
Wait,
Story
you
is
haven't
great.
played Vagrant Story? Not even.
It
I
says
didn't have a
release.
PlayStation until several years later,
Oh,
so like I
man.
was just catching up on stuff like
I need to
Final
revisit
Fantasy
that
and
game.
Chrono Cross. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't played any pre-Twilight Princess Zeldas, except for Link to the Past, kinda.
Oh
So that's
yeah,
a
you
bunch.
gotta get to work, dude.
That's a
Like,
bunch for me.
There's
yeah.
just no way Vagrant Story is ever going to be remade or ported or anything. Like,
I
there's
Seems
liked
just
like
that
it.
game, man.
Seems
I
like
liked
it.
Vagrant
such
Story
a bummer.
lot.
It's just one of those games. Yeah. And it was right in the middle of a retro, and I was like, this is the worst time for me to fall in love with a game.
Mm-hmm.
I've never not had time to play games as much as retro time. From James Davey. Which game has the best nightlife? And do you think Ubisoft open world video games run together thanks to bland characterizations in many of their games, as well as maps being littered with markers and they contain more chore-like and dull missions than other non-Ubisoft games containing open world mechanics?
Is that the same question?
Wait,
or
what?
two
Yeah, I heard Nightlife. Then you were just talking about Ubisoft mechanics. And
James Davey's having some problems with
Checked
Ubisoft
out.
games right now.
Yeah.
We can get to that in
Best
a second.
nightlife.
Just, I managed open world games or games that move the time of day.
I mean,
Cyberpunk looks great at night. That's
Yeah.
got a vibe.
there are so many good moments in OG Final Fantasy VII, like Golden Saucer, I guess kind of counts. It's like a casino, so it's always nighttime. Yeah, but the like market chapter, whatever it was in the remake, the where you cross dress.
Night Mark. Yeah.
That part is great.
Yeah, that was good
In both versions.
Shout out to Red Dead going into a town at night, just the way that all that stuff lights up.
Saint Denis.
Because they just do darkness really well. Even like playing Valhalla now when it's nighttime, it's like, yay, everything's blue. Like, I just like when games.
Yeah, a
it's
lot
like,
of games it's like day for night. It's
night.
like, what are you doing?
Dark, yeah.
Played
Nobody does
Dogma.
good day for night
Darkest game
anymore.
ever.
It's not like
Dragon's Dogma, so dark.
So dark. Too dark.
So dark. Far too dark.
Far too dark. Can't see anything.
I remember Riddick was the first like super dark game I ever played, where it was just black.
Dark Souls
like,
2.
The screen was just nothing on it.
Dark Souls 2 has a cool, some decent dark mechanics in it.
Trying to think. But you say nightlife.
Yeah.
New
Stuff
Vegas
you can only
has
do at night.
Yeah.
New Vegas had some cool stuff.
I remember that GoldenEye remake having like a club in it that was kind of cool scene, but
Oh, like Hitman has a lot of cool like club stuff.
yeah.
Good casinos.
True crime.
Oh. Like the OG,
What the
the
hell's
LA
that?
True Crime?
Yeah, they
True
had
Crime
True
rules.
Crime Streets of LA and then True Crime New York.
Yeah.
Is it Streets of New York still? But something like that, yeah.
True Crime Streets of LA
Oh,
is still...
Sleeping Dogs maybe.
True Crime Streets of LA is still, Ian, one of the most like brutally honest LA maps, like almost to like a boring extent, where you're like on the 10 freeway and you're like, enough. Like I get it. Like, Spider-Man, especially, Miles Morales with the snow and everything, like and all the Christmas lights that are out. And it doesn't do natural time of day, so once you like get it, once you get into a nighttime phase, and after you beat the game, you can just tell it to be nighttime.
I don't know. I didn't think of this. Yakuza games have like the craziest
sure.
nightlife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's
There you
it.
go.
That's the winner.
There you
That's
go.
the obvious winner.
We'll end on that.
We found it.
Yeah.
From Harrison Holt McHale. Hey, Elias. Over on the EZA forums, we've been talking about our favorite games that didn't come out in 2020, but that we played for the first time. For me, one of my favorites was Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. It occurred to me that my favorite thing about that game was its movie night vibe. There are lots of high-intensity story moments followed by lulls that allowed for conversation between me and my partner about what had just happened, where we thought the story was going, what the mystery was, etc. In many ways, it was better than an actual movie. We didn't need to pause it when we wanted to have a conversation about what had just happened. The game naturally provided for that. And for me, that was an intrinsic to the great experience we had with the game. I would love to hear the allies share any similar experiences of the way games have either been better due to the way it meshed with you having played with a loved one, or even other suggestions of game with the movie night vibes. Love and respect, Harrison.
Resident Evil Revelations 2, very similar. The second player, I know, Brad, if you're playing as the second player,
Yeah, it's
you don't
boring.
have quite as much fun. But Omar and I played through that, and I really loved it. But I was player one, so who's to say?
Army of Two, Brad? Movie night?
I guess.
Canon Lynch, movie night?
Yeah, a lot of games could be more fun with someone else, I guess. Like WoW's really fun.
All the dark pictures and like
Yeah.
Until Dawn and stuff like that is like the best way to do those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
it's the way to
as
do
a
it.
group. Yeah.
Ian, my buddy Todd reached out and he's like, how much of Sea of Thieves have you played? And I was like, oh, did you get bit? And he's like, oh my God. Me and my roommates.
Sea of Thieves is a good
Me and
one.
my roommates, we
Yeah, it's
just
fun.
cannot stop playing that. But it's just a great, great conversation game. Just like if you can caught up with friends, it's like,
Yeah.
cool, let's just go play Sea of Thieves. No pressure. It doesn't matter
The old chat room on the sea.
what we do. Yeah. And to me, that's Jackbox, like such an easy thing to
Sure.
The movie
play,
night vibes
play in
to
little
me
spurts.
implies,
Not a story thing though, but
yeah, something you would watch as a story together.
right.
Like, yeah, and Until Dawn I think works pretty well with that.
Mm-hmm.
The Order
My,
1886, maybe.
I had a friend growing up who would always come and watch me play Silent Hill, which was great because I was too afraid to play it on my own.
Mm.
And my girlfriend watched me play through Amnesia Rebirth, and that was really fun too. So
Yeah, Eternal Darkness actually worked pretty well in that regard because I remember when that came out, like I took that over to my dad's to have him check it out, and he was just like, Yeah, and I thought like I wouldn't overwhelm him or whatever. Like we'll just chill in the beginning and like just see what this cool game is like. And he's like, keep going. I'm like, oh, okay, really?
Nice.
Yeah, I would watch my dad play Seventh Guest as a kid, and I loved that.
A lot of Rockstar stuff probably isn't. Maybe I don't know if she's gonna listen to this episode. Technically, this goes up on Christmas, so I can still pass that. But thank you, Game Pass, because I can just download Call of the Sea and give that to Amanda and her dad because they played a lot of Seventh Guest and King's Quest back in the day, and I was like, perfect. When that got good reviews, I was like, yes.
Cthulhu Mist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to finish it.
And L.A. Noire, I bet, was probably kind of fits that because there's little starts and stops, chapter based, where you can you're like, okay, we solved that. That guy's in jail. Let's pick it up again later.
Quantic Dream games, as crazy as they could get, they're pretty good to watch and see the decisions and all that. Yeah.
From Mirko de Buell. Hello, allies. With the resurrection of the long-dormant Perfect Dark franchise, it's easy to start wishing for other franchises to make a comeback. A classic love and respect question.
Yeah, classic
I made
question.
a big list of video game series, some bad, some good. It's not on the list, unfortunately. Wait, is it? No. Made a list of video game series, some bad, some good. And it's up to the panel to decide whether to bring it back or let it rest. Love and respect from Belgium.
We almost never let them rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of these I haven't even heard of. All right. Golden Axe.
Oh, bring it back.
Sure, yeah.
You could bring that back.
After Streets of Rage, do it.
Yeah.
Klonoa.
Ooh, bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah, Klonoa.
I don't have an experience with them, so I
None.
don't really have an opinion.
Sure, bring it back. Why not?
That's the one we streamed, right?
Yeah.
We should
Ben
horror one?
really
Yeah,
liked it, I
yeah.
remember.
I had it as a kid. I liked that game.
Time Splitters. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Yeah. There's
So
something
much
going on
potential.
with that studio, I think. But yeah.
So much potential for that series. Bloody Roar.
Dude, bring it back.
Do you remember Bloody Roar?
I can't see it coming back, but it'd be so fun for it to come
Yeah,
back.
that'd be fun.
I had Primal Rage as a kid.
There we go.
so-
Okay. This one's harsh. Splinter Cell. Anybody remember that series?
What's that?
Harsh, man. Harsh. Armored Core.
Yes, bring it back.
Here we go. Here's a test. Red Steel.
Oh, I mean,
that
Did
could
they
be
two of them?
interesting. Yeah, they did too.
yeah,
They
yeah.
did make two.
Yeah,
And
two
1
is
and
the
2
good
are
one.
super
Yeah.
different from each other.
And then
I
they
had fun
made
with
For
one.
Honor. But Vandenberg's is not
He's gone.
Ubisoft anymore, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, he left?
Yeah, there was a whole...
That guy made
while ago.
Red Steel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, is he
He's-
bad?
That's his, like, life mission was to make good sword fighting, dude.
It all makes sense now. Wow. I never put two and two together. We learn something every week in the Easy Alice podcast. Commandos.
Oh, Huber would...
For Huber, yeah, bring
Oh,
it
yeah,
back,
but
dude.
Bring it back.
We had
I
fun.
played that as a kid.
I thought they were doing something, but maybe it was just a remaster.
Alone in the Dark.
Bring it back.
You could do that well.
You could do it
bring
well.
back. Or you embrace the OG thing like we were talking about last week with the PS1 graphic style.
Not a bad
You just-
idea,
You just
actually.
do it.
Yeah.
Have the Murder House people do it. Puppet.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Even just
Yeah,
Alone in the Dark playing at a decent frame rate, I'd be more interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, like something would like come into the room and I'd be like, "Oh my god, what is that?" And it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm not scared of it anymore. But when I first saw it, I was
Pterodactyl?
curious.
What
Yeah.
is that?
Animusha, another just right in the gut.
Yeah, come
Yeah. Come on, dude. Bring it back.
on. The teases.
And now for some very weird picks. Nightmare Creatures. Anybody
Yeah.
remember Nightmare?
I'm
Creatures?
down.
I
Yeah.
remember it, but I never
We
played
streamed
it.
it before
Ryan
Bloodborne
really
came
liked-
out.
Yeah.
I feel like Ryan really liked that game.
Nightmare Creatures is creepy because it's got that like Silent Hill 1 draw distance.
Yeah,
so
you
like
can't
there's
see
some
shit.
wacky stuff in that game and like you just run up to it. It's like there's actually a lot of Bloodborne-ish like I'm behind the boxes, roar. So yeah, there's a lot of that stuff going on. And the Nightmare Creatures 2 had
Didn't play it.
some metal band or something that did the I remember that was like one
Oh,
of the
okay.
PS1 discs
Oh,
that like
I'm
also
sure it
played
did.
the soundtrack. Carmageddon. Come on.
They just had that not that long ago.
We got to let something rest.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
have
think
no.
we need
I have
it.
no horse in that race.
No horse.
No car in that get.
As much as I love Twisted Metal, I don't know if I would support a Twisted Metal coming back. I'd rather just play some of the older ones.
Twisted Metal.
It's
I'd
not on the
easily
list, but-
go for it. But Carmageddon is just like running people over and
Straight up, just bring Twisted Metal 2. onto PS5.
I think people would
Just-
rather smack a soccer ball with their car than shoot other cars.
Yeah,
I think.
nowadays.
I think car combat just kind of. I think we're
maybe.
done. It's like Rock Band. I think we're just.
Just
kinda
put
done.
Sweet Tooth in Rocket League, and everybody wins.
Impossible creatures.
I don't even know what that is.
That sounds so familiar.
I don't remember what it is.
Is that Spore? Jazz Jackrabbit.
Oh, come
Never
on.
played it.
That I have no idea.
Yeah,
Ow.
that doesn't need to come back. It's
All
fine.
right, let it rest. We finally got
Stay
there.
dead, Jack.
What's Impossible
Or
Creatures?
Jazz.
Let's write in his book or whatever.
What's Impossible Creatures, man? You looking it up?
I'm looking. It's a real-time strategy game released in 2003 by Relic Entertainment in conjunction with Microsoft Studios.
Well, does it look cool or not?
The cover looks ridiculous. It's got like a lobster with a tiger head.
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Oh man.
We demand Impossible Creatures.
It's like,
Only on Game Pass. You can't actually
Yeah.
buy it.
Yeah, and only until March.
Yeah, only till March because
it's
it's celebration. That's
It's
right.
a celebration.
it's a hello, Alice. We're gonna play a game called Bring It Back or Let It Rest. What I'm gonna need you to do is shout "Bring It Back" after every game that I mention.
We love video games.
Yeah.
What could we say?
I want to know which franchise fans you're gonna be mean to.
Oh,
Yeah, fuck Carmageddon.
Oh!
Everything else.
Yeah. And Jazz Jackrabbit. Blood.
Yeah,
Shunned
blood
it.
poo-pooed on Jazz Jackrabbit, whatever that is.
From Daniel Kozlowski. Hello, allies. Last year, 1 week after the Game Awards, I asked the panel, just who is Jeff Keighley? It was something that was on my mind after watching the Game Awards. This year, I have another question for you all after watching the 2020 awards. What exactly is Best Direction? It was pretty much the only award that I didn't fully understand
Yeah.
by the name. What does it mean when a game has good direction? What does it feel like when the direction is there and when it's not? I assumed this award has something to do with the game's director, but beyond that, I just don't know what that means. Happy holidays. Hope you can help me answer the question like last year. Love and respect, Dan K.
That's a fair question.
Well, it's.
I
was
have a
actually
very
talking about
pretentious
this-
answer as a film major, but yeah.
Well, yeah, as film, like coming from film school, like a director is the head of the creative, and like the producers are the head of like strategic scheduling, that kind of stuff. So like, I didn't read the article about crunch, but if it works like film, the director wouldn't be as in charge of that.
Right.
It'd be the producers to blame. Though on a lot of these games, they're the same person. But I don't know if that's true in games or not necessarily. I would assume it is, but. Yeah, on a film, the director oversees all the creative stuff, and then the producers try their best to make it happen. Kind of. That's the short version.
Yeah, they're the kind of the gatekeeper for ideas, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then like literally like directing the actors. They're
Yeah.
in there as
And
well.
you're the chief collaborator
Yeah.
on a good set.
But yeah, I definitely agree that it feels like an odd category to have as sort of like an outsider. Like that feels like a category that fits more into like the GDC awards, you know, or like where you do break down like all the different disciplines. And for the Game Awards, it feels like it stands out. It's like why, like how many situations is best game direction also not going to be the same thing that got Game of the Year?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
It really feels like it's there just because it's in the Oscars and like they want to seem legitimate or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even the Oscars sometimes, like I remember when like Scorsese got it for Hello, Mark Wahlberg, Leo.
The Departed.
Departed?
Yeah, and I was like, bummer. It's a bummer that this.
Not his best.
Yeah, like of all of the amazing works this man has made, they finally. So a lot of times I think it's them just being like, just give it to him. Whereas like I don't know, I don't get that vibe.
But in
from Game Awards.
film, I mean, I'm sure it's my understanding of film production that helps me delineate this. But in film, like, there have definitely been years where I'm like, yes, this deserved best direction, and yes, that other thing deserved best film. Like,
yeah.
that was the best directed thing. That was not the best thing.
Right.
And I think in this case, like, crunch aside, if you are just looking at, like, cohesion of performance and creative vision.
Vision is the word
Whether or not,
the biggest thing I
yeah,
would
whether
use.
or not you liked it,
Right.
like, Last of Us did have a definite, like, authorial voice,
Right.
you know? Like, I disagree with, I don't think the narrative was all that great,
Right.
but, like, it definitely had a voice, and it was well executed on that voice.
Like Daniel, when you say like what games have them and what games don't, no shade to any games that I'm going to mention that I feel that don't have them, but like Assassin's Creed games. You know, it's that, but Vikings. You're like, okay, great. You know, it's like there's not a lot of creative leeway for them to be like, yeah, but just wait, what I'm gonna do, you know, with this thing. A game that does have direction, Death Stranding. Like, that is clearly
God of War.
A guy. Yeah, like even Spider-Man with Brian Intihar. Like, how many Spider-Man games have we played? But clearly, like, they had a very clear creative vision. Like, let's not do the origin story. Let's gear it towards this one specific villain. Let's, you know, like, you see all these creative decisions. And that's how I felt when I was playing Last of Us. It's like once I was like 8 hours in and like you really started getting to Abby and I was like, oh, I see where this is going. Like, I see what the story they're trying to tell. Like, this was clearly somebody went into the room and wrote a thing on a piece of paper and stuck it on the wall. And they went, that is the game that we are making. And so when you play a game like that, that's like, okay, somebody is steering the ship. Something like Sea of Thieves, it's like, that's a fun pirate game. You know, you don't really get that sense of like, oh, they, you know, I didn't see the story going in this direction, or like, wow, they clearly have like a mantra that they followed. That's direction to me.
Which is an interesting thing though, because like Sea of Thieves has a director, I think.
Oh, they all do. Yeah,
like,
I'm just saying when you feel it, like, you know, like when you're like.
But I mean, does that preclude a non-narrative game ever winning?
I was going to say,
direction?
I think people get hung up on narrative aspects about best director of games when
really
everything
what you're
should be a
talking
part
about
of
is
it.
Best writing.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Well, I thought about, I was playing Valhalla, and I'm actually playing it. I'm doing a little capture of it as well, and I turned the music off, and like I'm really picking up a lot of the crazy like audio stuff, like people in the background, like, you know, like screaming sounds, where I'm like, that screaming sound effect that I've heard it 5,000 times, it just loops, and it's like, bummer. I bet a team like Valhalla is just like, we're not winning sound. It doesn't matter how good sound we do. We're not Call of Duty. We're not Last of Us. We're not these big kind of shocking experiences that like, that's the stuff that's really gonna get recognized, I think, in that department.
I forget what it was because it was a few weeks ago now. I saw somebody actually really criticizing the actual audio quality of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like, it's really like
it's compressed. Or
yeah.
something?
Like it's not good.
There's just a lot of people talking in that world, and I listen with headphones as well. So a lot of times I'm like, what? Who said that?
We've definitely seen a lot of games recently that have like interlaced video assets, like Family Feud and a couple other ones lately, where it's like, yeah, just poor compression can be a factor in these games.
Yeah.
I hope, Jones, to bounce back to something you just said about Valhalla and them saying we're not going to win sound, I really hope none of these companies are considering what awards they're going to win while they're making these games.
Right.
Like that is not the way to make a game, guys.
Don't make a game be like, I'm going to win a game award.
I want to win this award. Like, no, you're not.
Just, yeah.
I'm sure when Nintendo was making Animal Crossing New Horizons, they were like, award season, baby.
But
we're going to win best multiplayer.
But I think your Assassin's Creed example is a fairly good point, though, Brandon, because I think there's definitely a difference between something that feels like it's sort of made a little bit more by committee or made to like hit a certain audience or market, or, you know, and then you go to Death Stranding and it's like, you know, like, we're just going to take a risk on this guy and do whatever the crap he wants.
Yeah.
You know, like, there will be focus testing and there will be some feedback, but, you know, if, you know, this game is going to be what this guy wants or doesn't want, and that's essentially what you're getting.
Sam Lake is definitely somebody that I feel like you feel him. You know, like his games feel different than other action games, like just kind of in the way he handles the paranormal and mysteries and stuff. Speaking of, just tweeted he finished his first draft of the new game. His next game. So,
that's something that's interesting about best direction for games. Because it seems to me that it either, like in the case of Last of Us, will just go to the game that's the most emotionally intense.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily the most emotionally resonant, or it will go to the game that has, I think currently in the games industry, that probably usually has an already established as quirky auteur kind of director, like a Kojima or a Sam Lake, or maybe a Joseph Fares in a couple of years, who knows. But I feel like it's always going to go to one of those two archetypes. You know, either the game had a lot of yelling, or it's Kojima.
What about Miyazaki?
I think Miyazaki would count as
sure.
the Kojima type.
But I could see, like, even something, you know, for if we want to talk about non-narrative stuff, I could see something like Mario Odyssey, you know, or Breath of the Wild, you know, being
Yes.
something as best direction, because it's like
Breath of the Wild might have taken it.
maybe
Was it there
yeah.
that year?
Don't know. Good question. Also, words are silly. It's like,
Yeah.
Who cares?
does it mean anything? It's just like when
Stay tuned for our
as a
GOTYs.
pretentious filmmaker,
Yeah,
I
stay
try to.
tuned.
For our game of the year.
We do not have a
ones.
best director. Yeah.
We should get advertising money because that's why everybody else is doing it.
Blam.
Yeah.
That was cynical. I don't believe Jeff does it for money. I think he really does love this.
He
shit.
loves it.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
the money to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He loves it.
Not the other way around.
From Rory Gallagher, g'day allies. I'm sure you're well aware by now that Australia has a bit of a sordid history of censoring or outright banning video games. It's a topic that I'm very passionate about, even to the point where I gave a speech about it for a high school English assignment. I got an A.
Nice.
So I've put
Nice.
together a little game about the subject. Were the following 8 video games banned outright, censored for Aussies, or allowed through unscathed upon release? Banned, censored, or unscathed? Hope
Okay.
this was a bit of fun and hope
Hey.
you have a very safe holiday break. Love and respect from Dan Under, Rory Gallagher. Grand Theft.
I can say right off the top of this, there are going to be some that are banned that are just be like, what?
It's gonna be really weird.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
weird
what I was
list.
gonna say. Like some of these are gonna be strange.
Animal Crossing. What?
Weird games,
Yeah.
too. Weird, fun games we don't normally talk about. Grand Theft Auto 5. Banned, censored, or
Censored.
unscathed?
Yeah,
I want to say
censored.
censored.
Unscathed.
Unscathed.
Wow.
Although some GTA
Wow.
games in the past have been censored in Australia,
Okay.
GTA 5 made it here with no edits.
Wow.
The Witcher 2.
Well, 5 didn't have hot coffee. Which
The
one?
Witcher
Right, no,
2?
San Andreas. and
Dude,
Hot
censored.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta be.
Witcher 2, censored or banned?
Censored.
Censored.
A side quest was edited so that Geralt could no longer accept sex as a reward for completion.
Mm-hmm.
Postal 2.
Banned.
Banned. All in unison. I love it. Due to the high impact themes involving abhorrent and revolting content. Although as of 2012, it became available for us to purchase on Steam without classification and is yet to be taken down. Go get your Postal 2 fix, Australians. Mark Echo's Getting Up contents under pressure.
Oh, man. That's a funny
Censored.
one.
That is a funny one.
Fun to remember. What
Censored.
do you think, Glenn?
Sure.
What was this game?
I'm going to go with banned. Just
It
some
had
weird
Tony
thing.
Hawk vibes as you just running around spray painting stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I tested this game before it came out.
Hey,
I remember this cover. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, with the X on it. Yeah.
what do you think, Ian?
I think I wanted to say censored, but now I'm thinking banned.
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 Although it was set to be released with an MA 15+ rating, Queensland's local government association got this decision overturned by arguing the game promotes and provides instruction for illegal graffiti.
For vandalism, yeah.
Catherine.
Ooh, censored.
Censored, yeah. I don't think it's banned.
Unscathed.
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 No issues with this
Yeah.
one getting released in Australia.
Okay.
Hotline Miami 2.
Banned.
Ooh, that seems
Banned. Because
that
of
seems
the
like a ban, I guess.
that trailer.
Banned.
Yeah, banned.
Due to a scene that implied sexual assault. After
Yeah.
it was refused classification, developer Denaton Games suggested Australians just pirate the game if they were interested in it. It's good. It's good.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember they had that trailer where it seemed like it was depiction of like a sexual assault scene, and then in the game it turns out it was like they were filming a movie and it was pretend or whatever. But they got a lot of flack for that.
Doom 2016.
unscathed.
Censored? I can't think of what they would.
Blood.
Hmm.
Doom.
Banned?
Unscathed. Even Australians
Yeah.
are allowed to kill demons uncompromised. And finally, Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh,
Left
man.
4 Dead
Wasn't this
Something
like...
got censored on there.
Yeah, it was either censored or banned. I can't remember. I'm going to say just banned.
Censored.
Censored. Originally censored when it was released in 2009, all blood and gore were pretty much removed. Thankfully, in 2014, an official uncensored patch was released with the R18+ rating came into effect for video games in Australia. So as long as they
Got it.
rated it correctly.
They didn't used to have 18 rating.
Yep.
Huh.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Really comes out of nowhere when you got all the love and respect questions. You're just waiting for
Yeah,
another one.
Yeah.
Nope.
Didn't
Pow.
expect
Sponsors, baby. video game sponsors, specifically the G923 True Force Sim Racing Wheel for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Daniel Bloodworth putting in some serious hours on the racing wheel. We talked about some games last week, Bled. What else? What else did you check out on the wheel?
Oh, well, GT Sport. I had to. Like, this is a game that, like, racing wheels are basically made for, right? So, got in there. And, like, what a reminder of, like, how good this game is. You know, it's like one of those moments of, like, everything here just feels right. And I think that's the thing with, you know, putting the wheel up on it. It's like, yep, this just all feels right. Like, passing people. Like, even, like, when you're at low speeds, passing somebody and getting that turn right feels good with a wheel. Yeah, absolutely.
And you're on official tracks in GT Sport, right?
There's a mix. There's some made up tracks and there's some real tracks.
Oh, fun. Made up tracks in like real cities though? Like around the world? Or is there anything like cool? There's not like a fake Las Vegas in there or something. How old is GT Sport? Just out of curiosity.
3 years, something like that.
Oh, all right. Check it out. The award-winning Logitech G design is re-engineered to dial into your game physics, delivering unprecedented realism. Feel the pistons pumping, the gravel crunching, and every shift, drift, and hairpin turn like never before. It has a programmable dual clutch. Get off the starting line faster with maximum traction and minimum smoke in supported games. Yes, Ian. Smoke.
Smoke. In-game smoke.
In-game smoke. Total wheel control. Control wheel sensitivity, force feedback, levels, and button customization via powerful G-Hub gaming software for PC. Control the race. 24-point selector, RPM LEDs, integrated PlayStation, Xbox, or PC game controls, and progressive brake spring all help you maintain control of your vehicle at high speeds in supported games. It's compatible with most racing games on PlayStation, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC with select titles specifically designed for True Force. Head on over to LogitechG.com to get your hands on your own G923 True Force Sim Racing Wheel today. That's LogitechG.com. And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. Back to it. From G the Finger, the industry rewards crunch. Last of Us Part 2 won Game of the Year. Cyberpunk sold 8 million before it ever even launched. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the highest rated game of last generation. Yet Naughty Dog, CD Projekt Red, Rockstar, and more have been exposed for fostering an unhealthy work environment for their employees. But why would they care? Whistleblowers and damning articles seem to be muted in the roar of GOTY announcements or commendation trailers. A boilerplate press release with vague promises to do better seems to be all it takes for people, consumers, and press alike to turn the other cheek. The developers and artists who make our favorite things are hurting, and we are letting them know that we don't care. Vote with your wallet isn't happening. A cry of unionize becomes banal. Encouraging dev promises are swiftly abandoned. Is there a path forward, or is crunch an uncomfortable reality we've quietly decided to accept? Adoration and admiration. I just want to say, before I allow any of you to speak, I love those commendation trailers. Because that's us. every now and then we sneak in one of those. So like, hey, let's not, obviously this is an important topic that we need to discuss, but let's not be too hasty. Let's allow them to have their commendation trailers. If we it's a tough one, but it's 11 Respect episode, so I figured we can get into it.
Sure. I mean, it just comes down to, people reward products. Most people, don't have any idea how it's made. It's like, that's, like even among video games where it has so many like passionate fans, those of us that are online and discussing it were like maybe 250,000 of those sales. It's just like It's such a small number of people, and the difficult thing is that the product itself deserves it. And the work that those people have put in is excellent, and so the difficulty I always come to when it comes to talking about this subject is it's like, I am trying to put myself into somebody else's shoes that I have no idea, what it's like to be in there as a worker or as a manager and all of the different pressures and stuff. And like, I feel like, well, I can point at those things and I can point at those reports and I can say, do better. Like, the things that I do are next to nothing. It's like, it's gotta come. The change has got to come from within, It's got to come from the pressure of the workers and the companies to actually do these things, because unless you get something that's so mismanaged like Cyberpunk, when it comes out as a mess, for the most part, like, people just aren't going to know, aren't going to care, and they'll say something, but they're still going to recognize the good game and want to play the good game.
Schreier's certainly doing his part.
Yeah,
he is definitely pushing real hard, and I think that's like one of the solaces that I take is we were not talking about this in the PlayStation era. We were not, even
Right.
like in the beginning of the century, like 2006, 2007, when I really started, like cutting reviews and getting a bunch of those done, and selling to MTV, and then bringing in Shane and like meeting Ryan Stevens and Justin Spear and Miguel and like all these guys that were like writing about video games, and I was like, oh cool, all I know is like filmmakers and editors and dorks that play like the games that I like I'm just meeting people who know lots of other games. None of us talked about it. Never came up on Invisible Walls. Never came up, and like now I definitely feel the climate changing, and sadly, like, it is, when you talk about unionization, like, it is something that does take a while. It does take a lot of personal sacrifice. It does take a lot of uncomfortable decisions on the part of people that have to potentially sacrifice their jobs to get the future they want. But like, is COD accused of this? No. Does it because they don't crunch?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a whole other ball of wax too, right? Because you don't hear stories about
Right.
this from Japanese developers, but it
Right.
absolutely is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, to kind of springboard off of what you said, yeah, I mean, COD is the perfect example of what I bring up all the time, is like, this is an issue that enthusiast press and the people who read and listen to enthusiast press, like our kind of stuff, Kotaku, Polygon, whatever, we all care about it, and we're like 1% of the market. Like, COD's sales, like, being through the roof when none of us like really play it all that much, or like talk about it all that much, is a very big example of that, where it's like, oh yeah, like the big money makers in this industry are the things that we're less into that everybody else is super into, and I know a lot of people who are game developers, and when I've heard them talk about crunch, like people who've worked for Naughty Dog, people whatever, when I hear them talk about crunch, it's almost just like a foregone conclusion. Like, you say, like, hey, you want to hang out? And they're like, oh, I can't, I'm in crunch. It's just like a fact of life. But then, yes, as Brandon said, like, that's how these things start. Like, that's how civil rights movement starts. That's how anything starts, is like a small but vocal group starts speaking out about it, and then slowly awareness builds, and then, yeah, unions become a thing and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, the brass tacks, bottom line is, it's not up to us. Like, we can talk about it, but until some company pushes somebody too far and its
Right.
employees unionize and it starts that ball rolling. And I mean, people have been saying that game developers, programmers, artists, whatever, need to be unionized for years. Like, but it's just such a daunting, scary thing. And in such a gig economy and like freelancer economy, everyone kind of, I think a lot of people have a fear that they're replaceable, and
Right.
that there's that kind of mentality of, and it's similar in the film, where it's just like, or any creative industry, there's a real fear that if you raise too much of a stink, well, there's some college kid who will do it for half your price who's just dying to get into this industry, and like, that's a real fear. So it's just going to take something to break.
Well,
that we have to reach a tipping point somehow.
It's an interesting conversation. I think the conversation shifted a little bit with Cyberpunk, because it's like the evidence is just in front of us. It's like a big car accident
Right.
that we're all staring at. We're just like, there's no,
Yeah.
the story's
It's like, you
there.
didn't even
Like,
crunch
you can
right.
see,
Like, what are you doing?
You can see the problems that this had with the version that I did play to completion and very much enjoyed. You can still see the game wasn't ready. You can see the issues this is having with PlayStation. They've confessed to so many different things and talk about their work structure. But how many people are going to turn around and go right into developing DLC for this game? How many people are currently working on Witcher, which somebody messaged me and said it was coming out in 2029. They were like, oh yeah, they're like, oh, that's like way off. But I guess there is a concept, like it is in the extremely early stages of development. But we just talked about Telltale a little bit ago, and I wonder if something, if you had that college kid, Ian, that's like potentially willing to do that, but then is like, yeah, but you're going to come here work at Telltale, and it's like, what? what kind of Telltale are we talking about? Because
Right.
I just heard nothing but nightmare stories about that company. I don't want to do that. So again, I wonder if you need,
Well, and that's-
you sadly need these nightmare situations to happen more and more, so that they're exposed more, so that they, these brands have a harder time.
Well, yeah, I
recovering
think
from
that's
it.
really what it comes down to is you need the people that are strong enough to lead the way, to create a competitive environment for the workers towards, like, you want to make a great video game, then, like, you're not going to be able to do it with crunch because they can get a job somewhere else where they're not going to be treated that way. Like,
Right,
and that's
right.
really what it comes down to, is just studios that, have that vision and have that ability to solve this problem, really, like, stepping up and, recruiting the top talent.
That's kind of how
Well,
we
and
threaten Brad with bad reviews. Is we're like, we'll get Huber to play this. We don't care, man. If you're not going to play this obscure PC title that's scoring really lonely, no.
But it raises the question, though, that I always have to think, and I know it's not nearly this simple, but one thinks about Supergiant and what they put out recently, where it's like, no emails after 5 p.m. on Fridays, mandatory 20 days off a year, like no crunch, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And like that looks great for them. But also that speaks a lot to like the scale of their games.
Yep.
Right.
And the scale of their number of staff. And it's like, in theory, like if you looked at it as a math equation and took out a lot of variables about like the human life, like you could say like if Supergiant game is X big and you need Y employees, then Cyberpunk is, X times 56 big. So you need Y times 56 employees, and then you could do the exact same amount of, no crunch, that kind of stuff. And I mean, one wonders if that is true and if it would be possible financially to just hire more people or what the answer would be. But
Maybe.
yeah,
When you have more people, everything gets slower too.
that's true. It's a compounding issue,
Yeah.
probably.
We praised
well,
Supergiant recently, and actually somebody in the comments was like, yeah, you kind of have a point. It's hard to scale. It's hard to compare a Supergiant to a 20-person team to like a 5,000-person team. But at the same time, they're like, it is worth noting that, Greg and the crew at Supergiant has confessed. They're like, oh, on Bastion, we crunched the hell out of that thing. We did not have a safe work environment. Like, we've got a little bit better at it, but.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is like, life advice from me to you: if any boss of yours ever says the words startup mentality, fucking quit.
Yeah, get out of there.
Quit immediately. Do not take
If you're
that
in a
job.
job
If they say
interview,
that in the interview,
Walk out.
don't fucking take that job and report that person to someone, because they're a fucking monster. But because that means that they're going to exploit you for their startup to succeed, by and large. And like, I think that is a danger with smaller game companies and companies like ours, where it's like, you can work yourself to death because it's your thing and there's nobody else there to do it, and because you're passionate about it, you can forget to live,
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
know? So there's
and
definitely the
there
flip
is
side
that
of
weird
coin.
side of the coin where I'm always split on this subject, because like any kind of production, anything like that, there is definitely a lot of hours, a lot of overtime that will go into something to try to get something really worthwhile done.
Yeah.
And there is a level of that I think gets thrown under the bus unfairly, that I think that there is value in really like putting a lot of hard work and effort into something. But I think the problem is, that we've seen with a lot of stories that Schreier has uncovered in situations where it's just like, there's no break. There's just,
Right.
This isn't something that we do for a weekend or for 2 weeks, with us with E3, like that is, some people would define E3 as crunch for the entire industry. And there's different levels of it. Whereas some of these people is like, well, they just move from crunch to crunch to crunch to crunch to crunch, and it just never stop crunching. And
Yeah.
that's where the real unhealthy issue is, because, like with us, it's like, okay, we got through E3 and bye, we're going to bed for like 4 days,
Right.
And a lot of people don't even get that option.
Well, and I think that we mentioned Japan earlier, and I think Japan and America specifically both have similar problems. I can't speak for Poland about this necessarily, but there are larger systemic problems in play about just like work ethic and like societal pressures of like what it means to be a good employee. And like America is not great about that. Like our work to life ratio is pretty poor compared to a lot of other countries.
Yeah, Europe
and I know
gets a lot
Japan
more
is
vacation days by default. Yeah.
right, and Japan I know is just about as bad as us, if not worse sometimes. And like that's a whole other thing that plays into this as well, I think, is that the pressure, you know, not just within the company but within your own like society, is there, definitely there.
And we'll do our part by bringing it up occasionally on Love and Respect.
Yep.
And saying
Or
similar
making fun
things.
of CD Projekt Red when they
Yeah.
fall on their face. Dustin McNabb. Hello, allies. A few months ago, my wife was applying for a job at a senior citizen center, and I dropped her off for the interview. While I was waiting, I saw that they still have a Wii in their game room. It reminded me, there's still a market for games like Wii Sports, and the Switch doesn't have much to fill that niche. If you were advising Nintendo, how would you suggest they cater to that market? Love and respect, Dustin. Remember, it's foolish to advise Nintendo because they're laughing all the way to the bank, but let's play along.
And they don't really listen.
Right.
Ring Fit Adventure is still doing phenomenally well.
But not great for the elderly market.
Right.
Yeah, wasn't like 1-2 Switch kind of like that? I guess something
Kinda.
Kind of an
Uh,
attempt.
It's too confusing.
Yeah.
Like you can't just golf or bowl.
I mean, we did just get Family Feud.
There weren't as
so-
many FMVs in Wii Sports.
Feud.
That was definitely a different thing.
Yeah.
All these weird people.
Yeah, I mean,
Strange
stuff like Family Feud, Wheel of Fortune, stuff like that. Especially if you have like a younger like life enrichment person working there to like operate it. Anybody can play Wheel of Fortune, you know. And
yeah.
and shout out letters, you know.
Sadly, it was the newness too. It's like it's kind of like Guitar Hero. It's like part
Yep.
of the excitement was I've never done this before, and then when you do it, you're like,
You're like, eh.
okay. Even
Right.
even Wii Sports Resort, going back to bowling, you know, like my brother was like, we're doing it, and like we did it one night, you know, but like we didn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't like thank goodness, new bowling lanes.
Right.
Wasn't a lot left to do. But funny you should mention that. From Caesar Villa, hello allies. What happened to the Ring Fit Adventure game you got? Did any of you take it home to exercise during the pandemic? Is it collecting dust in the studio? Just wondering, since I got it last month and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Estamos in contact, Caesar.
Did
I
we
don't
get
know
one?
where it
I
is.
bought my own.
I
I'm
snagged Ring Fit for a
actually-
while and I used it for 4 days. And the thing that the best, you know, the thing I really love about Ring Fit Adventure is all of you have been there, that dopamine hit when you go from level 1 to level 2 and you're like, ooh, you know, it's like the journey begins. You know, like it definitely felt good to be like, oh damn, like that big buff dragon guy, I want to beat that guy. You know, I don't think it was, you know, it's I you know, run half marathons and, you know, like I had a trainer for a while. Like I'm not afraid of physical fitness. It was just some other dumb thing that I was focusing on, some other game, you know, that I decided to
Yeah.
make time for. But I really did
Well, that
enjoy
one-
it, and I have seen it just like, you know, Blade, like you said, it's selling really well, and I haven't seen a lot of people mad at Ring Fit. You know, I've seen people mostly, you know, like Caesar was saying, that have enjoyed their experience with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's confusing for me because I'm like, did Nintendo send one or not? I don't even remember.
I
'Cause
think
I
they
do
did.
remember.
That's the one I stole.
I do
I didn't
remember.
pay for it. I grabbed the work copy.
we-
however, we got it.
We grabbed one from Target like as soon as it was available
Oh.
on the company card. So that's why I'm questioning. But yeah, I definitely have it sitting over here because I brought it home to see if it was something my wife would be into, and she checked it out, but we, you know, not really follow up on it. It's harder in an apartment too, because
Yeah,
then it's like
that's
you have to
My
modify
thing.
some of the things, and it doesn't quite do as much.
If I lived in a newer building where every step I take isn't heard by the women who live below me, that would be a different story. I definitely want to. I need to exercise. Like I don't, and I need to. bought that smartwatch so I could try to track my fitness, and this might become part of it. But
The thing about fitness is you got to find something you enjoy. If you're like, I'm going to make a commitment to fitness, and then you see a recommendation of an exercise or something and you try it and you're like, that sucks. Don't do it anymore. You know, like if you...
the problem is, Brandon, I hate all of it because
Right.
I'm in that point where I haven't done any exercise for so long
Sure.
that any exercise makes me feel like hot ass.
But it doesn't.
Or,
But
like,
it doesn't even have to be like a super strenuous exercise. Just move. You know, just do the baby steps. Just really, really slow.
Yeah.
Something to where you get into a point where you're like, I enjoyed that. You know, like if you know, Brad, you and I both were with, you know, we both endured German efficiency, and like there was no forgiveness there. Like he definitely pushed us. But I think that's the biggest thing that I hear from nutritionists and I hear from trainers and you know, people that exercise a lot is they're like, I just wish people would do a small thing so that they could see not necessarily a gain, but an enjoyment. They're, you know, just like if somebody has a weight issue, they're like, I just went outside. I just went out and walked down to the end of the block and back,
Yeah.
and like that felt good. You know,
I think making something a routine is really a big part of
Right.
it. If it feels like it's a routine for
and
you
that's
after a while,
that's I think
You
one
have
of the
to
most
do it,
attractive
though, for a
things
while.
about Ring Fit. Yeah, is it gives you that routine and
don't start Ring Fit on the extreme difficulty though. Like
No,
we
don't.
all
Yeah,
did
that
on
was
stream.
a bad
It was
idea.
awful.
Don't do that.
And I did that at home.
yeah.
And it was too intense.
you got nothing to prove.
Yeah.
Ease yourself
I had a
in.
personal. Sophia and I were going to a trainer before COVID. I think we actually have like 2 sessions left or something.
Nice.
First time I threw up.
Oh, damn.
I had eaten a donut right beforehand.
Yeah, Ring
Great-
Fit is
great
definitely a gamer trap when it comes to difficulty settings.
Yeah, do not
Yeah,
go for
don't-
hard.
I
Go for easy first.
Ian, I barfed when I was surfing one time. I got caught in an undertow, and like I was just 5 feet from the beach and just couldn't get there. I was like, come on!
no.
And then like I finally
That's
made
how
it.
they
It was
get
like,
you.
I made it! Bah, surfing's awesome!
Dude, that's just treacherous,
No, I had
man.
a
The
bad day
ocean
that
cannot
day.
be trusted.
Yeah.
Ocean is scary.
It can be very scary. From Happy Gaming, hey there, allies. Recently, I purchased a reproduction cartridge for Terranigma on Super Nintendo because it was never released in the United States officially. This, like many other games, came out in Japan and did well. However, for whatever reason, it was never officially released in the US. Isn't it weird, though, that we rarely hear of the games that deal with the opposite problem, having been released in the US or Europe, but never Japan? Below, I've listed a series of games next to others that have been released worldwide. It's up to the panel to pick the correct answer, the game that was never released officially in Japan. To clarify as well, just because it wasn't officially released in Japan doesn't mean it cannot be imported, purchased on Steam in English, or
Right.
played by other means. There's just never been an official Japanese release of these titles. Hope you enjoy. Love and respect, Brian from Happy Gaming.
Okay.
FTL, Terraria, or Stardew Valley?
FTL.
Terraria.
Terraria.
FTL.
Oh, it's
Oh?
FTL? Shit.
That little bastard's not even on the Switch.
That little bastard.
Good point.
God, Damiani loves that game.
He loves it.
Yep.
Yeah, the other two are on the Switch.
It's
That's
not
it. Yeah,
fair.
definitely.
Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal, Sly Cooper 3, Among Thieves, or Jack 2?
Jack 2?
I wanna
Jack 2.
say Ratchet and Clank.
You're all wrong. Sly Cooper 3, Among Thieves.
Oh.
I don't know if that was
Wow.
a Sly Cooper thing. If Sly Cooper just interesting.
I don't know.
Such a
Might have been late.
such a PlayStation favorite.
the
Interesting.
PS2.
Yeah,
Two.
Man,
who makes that?
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch and Sony.
a little
Yeah.
furry character PlayStation game. Not in
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah.
Star Wars Jedi Academy, Beyond Good and Evil, or Fable: The Lost Chapters.
Fable.
Beyond Good and Evil?
I want to say Beyond Good and Evil.
Beyond Good and Evil. No way is it Star Wars. No way is it Star
Yeah,
Wars.
there's no way.
But Star Wars would not stand
Yeah.
for that.
Fable: The Lost Chapters was a fun pick too. Not just saying the original Fable. Full Throttle, The Secret of Monkey Island, or Grim Fandango.
Ooh.
Wow.
No idea. I'm just gonna say Full Throttle.
I feel like it might be Grim Fandango.
I'll go with Grim Fandango.
Full Throttle, Brad. Good pick.
Full
Yeah.
Throttle.
I would say the least popular of the three, so maybe that was why.
Full Throttle's pretty sweet.
It's
That's
super
the one
dope.
I thought it was. I thought it was the least popular one.
Yeah, man. Maniac Mansion, they're all good. But not good for Japanese players. Call of Duty Ghosts, Halo 3, or Half-Life 2?
Ooh,
Whoa.
man. I don't know.
Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I'll say Half-Life.
Yeah, Half-Life 2 is my
Half-Life
guess.
2? Brutal.
Yeah.
What if Orange Box
That's
came out in
crazy.
Japan?
Of what?
So I wonder if
The
Orange
Orange
Box
Box?
came out in
Orange
Japan. So I wonder if
I
that
don't
kind
know.
of snuck
Man,
in there.
the
But I guess
Orange
just,
Box.
Oh,
What
yeah.
a deal.
I could see Portal doing
Jeez.
well in Japan. Yeah.
Batman Arkham Origins, Marvel's Spider-Man, or Injustice 2? Fairly recent game. Surprised one of these didn't make
This
it.
is a hard
Yeah.
one.
I'm
Injustice?
gonna say Arkham Origins.
I don't think it can't be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'll say Injustice 2.
Probably not. Injustice 2.
Wow, really?
Yeah, violence thing? I don't know. Brand thing? I don't know. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, or The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim?
They
3?
definitely got Skyrim.
3? Morrowind?
It's got to be Morrowind.
Or Oblivion.
Morrowind's
Oblivion, I
the
would
oldest.
Morrowind
think,
is-
was on the Xbox.
Morrowind is the oldest.
It's Morrowind.
I
Yeah.
love Morrowind.
Yeah, I love Morrowind too. I got it on PC and was like, yeah, I don't have time to play this. This is really great, but doesn't guide you as much as some of the other games do. So
Dude,
was
I
like,
wonder if
this is
does it have like a cool new graphical mod?
Oh,
that
I'm
is
sure.
amazing.
I'm
Like,
sure there's so many mods for that game.
And finally, Guitar Hero 2,
I used to make 'em.
Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, or Guitar Hero Metallica.
Metallica, I would
Metallica?
say, for like licensing some shit.
Licensing
I
I'd
don't
say
know.
Nightmares?
Metallica, yeah.
Yeah.
None of them.
Oh,
None of
None
them.
of
wow,
them?
really?
Trick question! Yay!
And I believe Guitar Freaks was a Japanese game, the original arcade.
Yeah, that's Konami.
Yeah, so interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is funny though, because I remember when we were in Japan, there were a lot of machines that had like the Guitar Hero kind of thing going on,
Yeah.
to like other extents too, like bongos and and like a table flipping one that I loved. So you would think that they would all do really well over there.
Wish I had Huber on hand for this one, but this is good. Again, tough subject. Hits close to home. From Carl Williams. Has the time come, finally, that we must stop overhyping some games? It sure did not take long for the honeymoon period between consumers and Cyberpunk 2077 to come to an end. A game that was overhyped for God knows how long. 8.5 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
7 years.
How long? Or 7.5. And now, for God knows how long, carries a boatload of baggage, crunch, questionable societal stances, no initial warnings of scenes that induce epileptic seizures, shoddy game quality for players who still own a PS4 or Xbox One, manipulating review copy distribution to ensure a score of 90 or higher on Metacritic and OpenCritic. I'm sure I'm forgetting some other stuff, but you get the point. Now, I'm not trying to gloat by saying I was never all that impressed, let alone interested with Cyberpunk to begin with, but boy, it feels good that I never drank the Cyberpunk Kool-Aid like almost everyone else. I will admit that I found the praise this game was receiving prior to release a tad bit annoying. It was as if I could put it, the game was being treated as the second coming. That, to me at least, is overhyping the game. I'm way past the point of overhyping video games. Do you feel I'm going overboard with my assessment, or do you agree that maybe we should really pump the brakes on the amount of hype a game receives before it releases?
What's funny to me at this,
Well, first of all, people who own a PS5 and Xbox Series X still own a PS4 and Xbox One, most likely, unless they traded it in. You know, it's like. But anyway, sorry, Blake.
Sure. But no, like they said, they used the term honeymoon period early in there, right? I feel like Cyberpunk is on an anti-honeymoon period.
Sure.
Like, I don't know that it had a honeymoon period.
They didn't have a wedding.
Yeah. So like,
Cyberpunk right
Left
now
at the
is like
altar.
it's like a romance where it's like a business trip you have to go on with the person that you hate from your office, and then by the end, like 2 months later, they're in love.
It's a rom-com?
right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
but
thinking.
like right now, they hate each other.
In a year, everyone's going to
Right.
be talking about how great Cyberpunk is.
Right. When it No
Yeah.
Man's Skies. and everything.
Yeah.
You check Metacritic. One of the reviews just like, I'm getting a Sandra Bullock, Hugh Grant kind of vibe from this.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't let go of hype. I can't.
Nor can the industry.
Well, because we underhype stuff all the time. I feel like there's all sorts of
we
stuff
do
that
all
we
the
feel
time.
like, it's like I would venture to say that we talk about like how much we need that new Elden Ring trailer, but at the same time, the more they don't announce that game, it's like, ew, like what happened? Like why did they announce it at that time? Why
George
did it
R. R.
take
Martin
so
is
long?
to blame,
Yeah,
I
what
know
the
it.
hell is Martin doing to that game? He's
gumming it up.
I love how we just blame him for everything.
and you have like Arc 2 that's like, look, Vin Diesel, and we're like, okay. It's like,
We're like,
these clear attempts to be like, whoa, or it's like, whatever. Even Perfect Dark, which I'm so excited for. I'll accept people being like, we don't know anything about that game. It's like, yeah, you're right, but I'm just, like that character.
Yeah,
I
no one
like
was
that world.
gave a shit about Mass Effect or anything, or Dragon's Age.
That's the important part, Jones. I think that's the important factor, and maybe what the heart of this question is getting at. Hype is one thing, but like hype can be, you can be personally hyped for something, and you can be personally disappointed or personally elated when it comes out and is bad or good, but like it's all in the reaction and how vitriolic or intense it is, right? It's like, and I don't know that it's anyone's fault always, but like when the hype is so pressurized, and then when something comes out and there's that explosion one way or the other, I think the games industry is not great at a measured response to a lot of stuff.
I mean,
I
will offer Smash Brothers to that argument.
Right, like that's the thing to work on. Not being excited, but not being vitriolic and hateful.
Right. Yeah,
that's
because
the
it
problem
feels like
area.
now, like the Kojima thing this week was a perfect example. I guess last week, considering when we're recording this.
Yeah.
Perfect example of like people are just overhyping a thing for pretty much no reason. It's like,
but like
people are setting themselves up to get disappointed, and then they get disappointed, and like, well, like.
Yeah. But on the flip side, though, Bloodworth, if you're Kojima Productions, and you don't understand that you tweeting out, "We have an announcement tomorrow," is going to make people more excited than than what the announcement deserves, then don't do that. Like another math equation, like how hype is this announcement equals when you should announce the announcement. And almost always you should never announce an announcement.
Yeah. But they do it because it's part of the advertisement too.
Yeah.
So I get why they do it, but I don't know. It feels like almost like at this point, it's like a personal thing for me about getting excited for something. Because we've seen stuff like this happen time and time again. Big game could be coming out and just suck. But sometimes it could be a really cool game that no one even thought about that got blown up. So, I don't know. Just don't pay attention to it.
I think there still has... I think that's kind of what Ian's getting at is, like, it's totally great to be very excited and be looking forward to a game, but, when, like almost like when your mental state or your well-being are, like, hinging on that, like, you're going too far.
That's too far, yeah.
And you have to be also, like, you have to be willing to recognize, like, what it is when it actually gets there, it's just because it's not the best game ever made or the Halo killer or what, I remember this back in the day.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's still a really great, it can still be a really great game, but people will just tear it down because it, quote unquote, didn't live up to the hype, which like nothing ever will. Like,
well, and that's the other thing too, is like Cyberpunk is an example of this, where it's like I feel like a lot of times people can't see the forest for the trees either, and I mean like the base PlayStation and Xbox versions of Cyberpunk are criminally broken, so like that's a thing on its own, but like on PC, like it not running great or whatever, on PS5 it not running great, like that's an issue that they're going to fix. Like you can be annoyed with it, but you don't need to be violently angry because it's like, okay, a month or two it won't be broken as badly anymore. Like who knows if the PS4 version will ever work, but like, be annoyed about that, but like you have to then look at the game itself and say like, okay, well, is the combat any good? Like, is the gameplay any good actually? Like, from what I can tell through this frame rate, and then that's a more long-term assessment of a thing being good or bad, right?
That's partially why I'm obsessed with trailers, is because like it's in there. Like the information you need, it's in there. Like you can get a waft of something and be like, something's off. I remember something that I was probably way too hyped for in relation to what we got was Picard. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. I mean, watched it, because like that first trailer came out and I'm like, he's got a little ragtag crew.
Of like, teenagers?
No, it's like, here's my new people. It's like, no, it's just not. So I was able to kind of dim that a little bit. And then by the time, it came out, people were like, it's not that great. And, I'm not like shooting it down or telling people not to watch it, but Also, when you're around Michael Huber and you're absolutely never the most hyped person in the room, it kind of helps you set your own expectations.
Balances it out.
Huber just messaged me on Slack just a picture of Arthur Morgan. And it's like, oh, all right.
Just right now?
No, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago or something. And it's like, sure.
I'm glad I'm not the only person that happens to.
Or he does that all the
Yeah,
time.
it's like-
He'll just like
Good,
message
good,
whatever.
good.
just-
I was like, I'm
The Wikipedia page for like some kind of like sword.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, all right. It's just like cool.
and it's funny because you get in the mindset and you think like, wow, he just searched the internet for that and then found it and then tweeted it to me. And it's like, no, that was probably the end of like an hour of just roaming around the internet and searching for fascinating things. So, of course, Huber's
But
name
that's
is going
the
to come
thing.
up.
That's the difference, though, is like Huber and I probably are on two different ends of a scale where like he is super optimistic and hyped about just about everything,
Yeah.
but never gets like super mad about anything. And I'm like cautiously skeptical about almost everything and then don't really get disappointed. So it's like be one of those. Like just don't believe in anything or believe in everything but don't get mad about it.
Yeah. It's that simple.
It's that simple.
From Garrett Zamora. Hey, Allies. I'm lucky enough to work at a job that lets me listen to music all day while I get my work done, and I've been using Spotify for a few years now.
Wow.
And one thing they do at the end of the year is give you a summary of what you listened to and top artists, etc. When I'm not listening to Easy A podcasts, which Spotify told me I listened to around 240 hours worth, I'm also listening to music, a lot of which are game soundtracks. So I have a fun little game for the panel today. Below are songs picked from my top songs of 2020 list, and it's up to the Allies to name the game the song is from. There may be instances where the song title could be in more than one game, but I will share the ones that I have been listening to. I'll provide some multiple choice options, but an ally can shout out if they know it before hearing them, and I'll start you guys off with a couple softballs. Enjoy. Much love and respect from Canada, Garrett Zamora, aka GBZMR in chat. This was number 2, but this is the biggest softball I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not even going to give you multiple choices for this. Devil Trigger.
Oh, come on.
It's a DMC
Animal
5.
Crossing.
All right. Let's see if you need multiple choice for this. BFG Division.
Doom.
Yeah, it's Doom Eternal.
2016 specifically, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wolfenstein,
BFG
Youngblood,
Division.
and Rage 2 were his other options, but and the rest of these are nice and spicy. Call the Cops. Is that from Final Fight, River City Girls, or Streets of Rage 4?
Streets of Rage.
4?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Indeedy do. Streets of Rage 4. Task Force Neuron. Is that Astral Chain, Cyberpunk 2077, or Deus Ex Human Revolution?
Ooh, it could be any of those.
Astral Chain.
Yeah, I'll say Astral Chain 2. Haven't played it. No idea.
Anime wins, baby. Astral
Anime
Chain.
wins. Always bet on anime.
It
Life.
was actually too weird for the other two.
True.
Yeah, I was like, that last word, definitely, yeah.
Life will change. Persona 5, Shin Megami Tensei 5, or Gears 5?
That's Persona 5.
Yeah, it's Persona. Pretty sure.
It is.
Yeah.
That was confident, Blood. Were you confident in
Yeah.
with the multiple
It's
choice?
the
or did
main
you-
song.
I don't know that. Flash in the Dark. Is that Mega Man X2, Mega Man Legends, or Mega Man 9?
Flash in the dark.
Flash in the Dark. Ha,
Mega Man
Bloodworth.
9.
Ha.
I'm gonna say Legends.
Pick
What
the
was-
other one, Blood, then someone will be right.
Yeah, sure. Mega Man X2, right? Was the first one?
Ian Hink is right. Mega Man 9. World Revolution. Is that from Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, or Secret of Mana?
World Revolution?
Mana, right? It's Mana. Didn't we?
Yeah,
they
I
said
was gonna say
Mana.
it's Mana, yeah.
Secret of Mana.
FF6, Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana. World Revolution.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mana.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger. Brad.
Woo!
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which song
Oh.
is that?
At least
I
knew
mean,
it
what
wasn't
song it
FF6. World Revolution. Go look it up.
I will.
Dust
That's a weird one.
to Dust. Final Fantasy 13, The Last Remnant, or Resonance of Fate.
Dust to Dust.
Dust to
Sounds
Dust.
like either Final Fantasy or Remnant.
I'll go with Resonance of Fate.
Final Fantasy 13,
Whee!
Dust to Dust.
Hail the Goddess. The Ancient City. Is that from Nier Automata, Bayonetta, or Final Fantasy 12?
That
Nier
sounds
Automata.
like
Say
Nier.
Nier Automata.
Totally Nier Automata. I like saying Nier Automata, Bayonetta. They Who Govern Reason.
Oh,
Love
Okay.
that title.
Bravely Default, Octopath Traveler, or I Am Setsuna?
I am
Octopath? I don't know.
Octopath does
I have no
better
idea who
music,
this
probably.
one is.
Octopath Traveler.
Octopath,
That's
yeah.
that's the last one. If you go back, it's worth noting that you could kind of guess what these are based on like the game he's probably listening to. You know, it's like I think of Bravely Default, Octopath Traveler, and I Am Setsuna. Octopath is probably the soundtrack he's listening
Probably
to.
the one you're listening
He's
to.
not-
Yeah.
I would say maybe not digging into the I Am Setsuna too much, but I heard. Didn't you
I
say
was-
piano was heavy in
Pretty
that?
much
Yeah,
all piano,
it's like
Yeah.
all piano. I like that
That's good
soundtrack.
stuff. Nothing wrong with it.
I was hoping for some Jessica Curry in there,
It's
and I
just
could have
a-
been like, "That's Dear Esther."
You hear that, Garrett? Get on that Jessica Curry action. Parasite Paladin, for all those older consoles you now have in storage, do you remember what was the last game you had in them? And did you play them
Ooh.
before putting them away and have one last hurrah? What's the-
Definitely no on that.
do you
last
remember
part.
any of the last games you played on old consoles?
I think on my NES, I played Zelda 2, I think was the last game I played on it. Because I
Why do
busted
you
out like
remember
15 years ago or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much. No, I've gone back to things so many times for various reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say I've got Chrono Trigger sitting in my Super Nintendo right now, but
You know what was fun? I was moving, and I do have a box of Super Nintendo cartridges, but I had another random box of random stuff that was in drawers. What did I find?
Here he goes.
What did I find in that drawer? I'm so proud. Super Star Wars, baby.
Oh, man.
Oh,
yeah.
look at that. Good condition too.
Yeah, I've got one of those
Yeah,
too.
that pretty super. Oh, well, thanks, Blood.
No,
Great
it's
blood.
special. I got one too, actually.
Well, I might have
I
one
threw
that's
it
got
away
like the
'cause I didn't
player's
even want
choice, whatever junk all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had to
Yeah.
rebuy all my Super Nintendo stuff because it got stolen when I moved to California.
Damn.
Brutal.
Damn.
But
I've had
Yeah, and then
multiple
my-
friends get stuff, gaming, specifically games, get stolen in moves. Brutal.
Hmm.
What a market.
well, it wasn't
What a-
exactly when I moved, but it wasn't long after I got here.
Yeah.
And then I've got Beetle Adventure Racing in my N64 because I did a stream for that, and that's the last time I've actually really plugged my N64 in.
Yeah. I beat Demon Souls recently on PS3, so I guess that.
Nice. Totally
My
forgot
disc
Animal
drive's
Crossing was a
been-
cartridge. I went to go start Animal Crossing, and it's like, "Where's your cartridge?" I was like, "Where's my what? This is a digital game. What are you talking? Oh, actually, look at that. It actually glitched. I
In
had to
your Switch,
I had
you
to
mean?
take it out and put it back in. And then it was like, "Oh, okay, we're good." Like, oof. Give me a little
having
start there.
Having a cartridge game blows my mind because I've got like Ring Fit on cart,
Mm-hmm.
and anytime I like update the system and I try to start Animal Crossing, but the one that's a cartridge is moved to the front of the
Right.
list now, and then I start Ring Fit and I'm like, oh no, like stop.
I got Amanda Immortals for Christmas on cart because it's
Nice.
that's not a surprise. She can hear that. She knows it's coming. She saw me playing it and was like, I'm like, this is what I was telling you about. This is the Breath of the Wild. You can play as a girl. But it was like $50 on Amazon, so I'm like, all right, save a little bit.
Yeah.
You ain't getting that
the funny
discount on
thing-
Nintendo. Ain't no way, no
Like,
how.
yeah, that last part of the question is just like, I've never like ceremoniously put anything
No.
away. Like,
Right, yeah.
like
One
the
last
exciting
hoorah.
thing is-
I'm always feeling like
next
I'm going to go
console,
back to
yeah.
something. Yeah, unless it's backwards. The new one's backwards compatible.
Yeah.
Compatible like this time around.
What was the last thing you
My
deleted
PS4
from
is so
Steam?
broken
Oh,
that I'm never gonna.
yeah, disk drive doesn't work
Start
on my
ripping.
PS4 anymore.
No, and mine didn't either. But the last game that was in it, I believe, was Dark Souls remastered.
From Happy Gaming. Hello there, allies. Is Games as a Service officially dying? Godfall seems to be
No.
dead on arrival.
No.
And Avengers is already being considered a financial failure by Square Enix after a reported $67 million loss and having sold only 60% of their planned units. Whether or not this was overly ambitious from Square's perspective, it seems only a few years ago every company wanted to jump on the gas bandwagon after the success of Fortnite and Destiny, among others. These attempts, though, are constantly fighting a losing battle to stay relevant. Final Fantasy XV tried to dip in and ended up canceling their planned season of content. Anthem wanted to be Destiny, but didn't have an actual game until the last month of development. Radical Heights wanted to be Fortnite, but immediately evaporated and is no longer even playable after developer Boss Key Productions went under. It feels like when a game is announced with the Gaz model now, Gaz or Gaz? Gaz? Gaz?
Games as a service.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's already done and buried by the time it releases. Even given that many try to inspire hope with extended open betas and early access, should developers back away from this seemingly lucrative model? Is it enough to just make good games where we can play a single player or multiplayer before being done to pick up something else? I feel like if studios continue on the trend, they'll go bankrupt trying to get rich in the next big thing in a bubble that already burst 3 years ago. Love and respect, Brian from Happy Gaming.
I mean, that's the answer to your query was buried within there. None of the ones that failed were good games.
Right.
Like, that's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Is like you can't just try to hop on the games as a service trend. Games can only be a service if they're good and people want to play them. So maybe make a game that's good and then hope you can transition it to games as a service if you want to go that route. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is definitely hard to jump into, though, I think.
I think Avengers has the right ingredients, but it doesn't have enough content.
Right.
Yep.
Like, people would continue to play Avengers if that stuff was coming out on a regular basis. You know, similar to how they're playing Destiny, but yeah.
Well, and the weird thing too, the kind of weird thing about this payment model or whatever is that it's not always, you're not always DOA, you know, like No Man's Sky and Sea of Thieves like fully turned it around.
Yeah,
Right.
Siege.
So yeah,
Number 6.
Siege, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Division 2 still rocking.
Division
they had
2.
to cancel some stuff this year, but
So it's like if you're just good enough and then you can push to get it really good, you can make it. But yeah, if you come out trash, you're done.
Warframe's huge.
Yeah,
Path
man.
of Exile's huge.
Yeah, oh,
not
yeah.
to mention mobile. My God, I mean that is mobile.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally like the entire market.
Interesting
to
Genshin
see.
Impact, yeah.
Yeah, interesting to
Oh,
see Skull and Bones, because that was like a really smart call on Ubisoft's part to be like,
Yep.
compared to other things that we're doing, this is not ready, like at all. So we're not even going to pretend to like bring it back or talk about it. Put it in a montage at one of our press conferences. It's just like it doesn't exist, and then if you see
Which
it later,
is bonkers
cool.
for something that I thought was initially just, hey, we've got this ship combat thing from Black Flag. Let's just spin it out into its own thing real quick.
Yeah.
I respect that they're taking the time.
They've done
with
enough,
it.
yeah. After Siege and Division, both 1 and 2, I think they were like, we know when this doesn't work, or we know when it's tough. Because this is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I loved Avengers. I have no interest, even in the game's current state, even if they make it better and add 20 more characters over the next 2 years. I just don't want to play that game with other people. It's just not. That's going to be slower, and that's the opposite of how it should be. You should want to play a multiplayer game with other people from a progression standpoint, because you should want to raid with other people in Warcraft, because we're going to breeze through this the more higher level awesome players that I have. Whereas like there's just so much, these areas are so big in Avengers, it's just like you're just going to take off over there and I'm going to want to go over there, and it's not going to work out. Strangely, like the hallway stuff in Avengers is actually like more directed and better to play multiplayer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I'm going to bulk up Cap and then go help people level up. And then I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. No, yeah, I think they'll keep going. It's just, especially with Destiny, man. I just keep hearing people like mad with Destiny, and then it's like, oh God, I fell in love with it again. It's like whatever that is, they figured that out.
That's the thing. Like
Just
every
keep
third
roping
expansion,
people.
Destiny like
Yep.
hits it again, and you're like, damn it,
Yep. It's like James Bond. He's back.
he's back.
Our final love and respect question from Cody Spencer. Hey, allies. With the Big Game Awards having just happened, I wanted to pay some respect to some categories that didn't make it into the big show. Here's some categories I came up with, and you will pick the winners. Feel free to ignore any that will make up your Easy Allies Awards. P.S. When do we get a special video of Don trying to flip a pizza? Love and respect, Cody. The thing isn't that Don flips the pizza. He thinks that expert
He just
chefs
believes that people do.
So he's got to
Yeah.
find
People
someone
at
else that flips a
Spago
pizza.
Flip
Do
pizza?
it.
Yeah.
For someone who worked in a pizza place, I never heard of that.
I think only
he was adamant that it was real.
I mean, maybe someone did it
we'll
somewhere,
see.
I guess.
It's a big world.
Apparently, his friend who worked for Wolfgang Puck at Spago or some crazy thing.
There's some
I mean, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
There's some guy in Italy. Of course you flip the pizza. All right. I got 9 of these. The only one, the number 9 is the only one I think we talked about maybe doing it in the GOTYs, and then we kicked it. Number 1, best animal companion.
Oh.
Maybe Iceborne?
Raymond?
Can't you get the fox in Tsushima?
Animal Crossing, dude. Like everybody.
Oh yeah.
It's like everybody in the
Come
game.
Come on, they're companions. They're animals.
Most realistic facial animations.
Wait, we didn't even get to
Wait,
answer.
yeah,
Oh,
what?
sorry.
You just hopping in?
You all suggested something.
But I mean,
You all
Animal
tossed out a
Crossing
name.
wins.
No,
Pelican Iceborne is
it doesn't
pretty
really fit, but it was like I was looking through games review, like, oh, Maneater.
Yeah.
There's a-
good. Absolutely not that, because he's not a companion.
yeah, he's not a companion. But I'm trying to think of a good one.
Saw
But
that.
I don't have any off the top of
It's
my head.
Animal
It's just
Crossing.
Animal Crossing, I
I
guess.
saw that
It's
Spirit
Animal
Dog in the Tsushima multiplayer. People were really digging.
Mm.
It's like a cooldown.
Oh, the bird and the pathless.
Oh.
There you go.
It's all right.
Oh.
Most realistic facial animations.
Last of Us?
Yeah, Last of Us
Feels like
has
it has
good
to go
ones.
to Last of Us.
Ghost has
The
good
animations
face,
in
too.
Last of Us are real good.
Yeah.
Best
They are.
melee weapon.
Hmm.
Dude, I'm giving it to Buster Sword. Hands down, baby.
What about Ghost Runner? Maybe nominate
Yeah, the katana's cool.
Ghost Runner's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Samurai Sword for
Well, yeah, and then we
Tsushima.
got all of Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I was
Demon
thinking.
Souls.
Oh,
like,
and
yeah.
Hades.
And Hades.
Weapon
yeah.
Hades has some
Hades.
really good ones. The Uji Katana and Demon Souls pretty damn good. I'm gonna say
Shit
that.
breaks too fast. Shit breaks way too fast.
Nah.
Best ranged weapon. I'm partial cap
Oh,
shield.
it's so good. It's anything in Doom. I don't know. Something in Doom.
Yeah.
The shotgun with the grappling hook on, it's pretty sick.
The Thor's hammer is also pretty fun because you just pin a guy
Yeah,
to a wall.
that's true. That is fun.
Anybody at any time. It works every time. You just boop, stay there. Best cutscenes. Also probably Last of Us.
Yeah.
It's cutscenes. Tell me why. Maybe. Whole game's a cutscene.
Last of Us is pretty good cutscenes.
Okay, it's a cutscene.
I don't mean that. I don't
game's
mean
a
that as a
cutscene.
derogatory. We're watching cutscenes a lot.
Oh boy.
Jolliest vibes. Probably Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that definitely is. Animal Crossing.
100%. Yeah. And then Demon Souls.
No way, dude. It's Final Fantasy for me, man.
Jolliest vibes.
Yeah, dude. I'm
I didn't
loving
find
it.
it to be
Sector
jolly.
7.
Even after the thing
Necessarily.
happens to all those people.
Yeah.
Jolliest vibes.
Shit's
makes it
jolly
even
everywhere.
jollier.
You've also
Shit's
got
jolly.
Paper Mario.
There's
I haven't played it yet, Blood.
Animal Crossing is more jolly than Paper Mario.
there's a Stringer remake where you just walk down a hallway and hear people scream in pain.
Yeah, it's jolly. What are you doing in? Just doing boring shit in Animal Crossing. It's not jolly.
Animal Crossing's not boring. It's quaint and darling.
Hardest game
fucking
on the
chores?
hardest difficulty.
Wait,
What?
what?
The hardest game on the hardest difficulty. So a game that if you crank it up all the way,
Doom Eternal?
Doom Eternal
I
would
was,
be
I
my
was
bet.
gonna say that's the one I
Probably
really
Doom Eternal.
cranked up that I could think of recently.
Because even Ben was
New
like,
Game Plus on Demon Souls was surprisingly like
New Game
not
Plus to
a
Demon Souls is
cakewalk.
quite a leap.
It's not a cakewalk like the other Souls games. Like you roll
Yeah, it's
New
pretty,
Game Plus.
it's much harder,
and every
but
other
I think Doom is pretty good.
most immersive.
Most
one. Not
immersive.
That's a good
Cyberpunk.
one. Ooh.
No, it's not.
Animal Crossing, bro.
I don't know. Some probably Half-Life Alex. I don't know.
Ghost
Probably
is
some
Oh,
pretty
Half-Life
good.
Alex.
Oh yeah, Half-Life.
Half-Life
Yeah.
Alex.
Ding,
ding.
For
Good
sure.
win, good win. And finally, the thing that we considered, but was probably not going to be in our GOTYs, biggest surprise.
biggest surprise.
Biggest surprise.
Cyberpunk's sucking so hard.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised.
Phasmophobia.
but- Oh, Phasmophobia.
I didn't-
Phasmophobia,
Especially,
Among Us.
especially in
Among
the horror
Us.
genre. But like the thing is, I'd played Werewolf. I'd played like
Right.
Secret
Sure,
Hitler.
yeah.
Like
Right,
I'd
right,
played
right.
kind of
Fair-
stuff like
fair
that.
point.
Whereas like I played so
Phasmophobia.
many horror games that tried even like an inch of what Phasmophobia did and was like, this is so stupid. I'm done with this. And like the fact that game horrified and made me crack up, like
Phasmophobia is great, dude.
I was personally really surprised by Hades. I haven't played a ton of their games
Yeah,
before,
sure.
and I was like, roguelike, that's okay. They're okay. But that one really clicked with me.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised
I-
by how much I like Grindstone right now.
all right. It's time to end this podcast. And there wasn't a bet last week. So that only means one thing. It's time for Ore Wars. Y'all ready? You know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Whoever wants to go first goes first.
We all go at the same time.
No, we're going in order.
Oh,
We clearly don't
I
have
thought you
things.
meant the intro. I thought you meant
whoever
how
does
the
the
intro
best,
works.
the best pick, the best explanation of what they pick of these three verses.
Okay.
Will get to win this podcast. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the
wait.
No, damn it. You
all
had
of
to
you
go,
botched it.
or
All of you
no,
botched
you
it.
botched it.
No,
You didn't
you
say
botched
wars.
it, Ian, because you couldn't help but criticize Bloodworth. You couldn't just be quiet and do it right. All of you botched it.
No, because you didn't finish saying wars, so
I
I,
don't-
couldn't go or
Did
wars.
you actually fully explain that?
No! No, all of us are on the
This is the
podcast
thing I
every
was talking
single
about.
week.
This is the thing I was talking about with we all do it at the same time, because he goes, or wars, and then we all go, or wars. But
Right.
Blood did it early.
You know that was like
and you didn't
twice a
say
year
wars.
for everyone else besides you, Jones.
It's been a while. It's been since March.
Good song choice, though.
Or wars.
But I think you botched it.
Or
wars.
Nailed it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Riddick or Dominic Toretto?
Oh, Riddick. Except for Riddick in just in Pitch Black, and then kind of in Chronicles of Riddick, because he gets real problematic in Riddick. But I think that he's more fun. Dominic Toretto weirdly takes everything too seriously all the time, and not everything is about family. Damn it.
And a couple weeks ago on the podcast, you said the other two Riddick films were problematic, and I was like, there were only two Riddick. No, there weren't.
There are three.
There are.
Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and Riddick.
Yeah. The next one's going to be called Rid. Who wants to go next?
And then
Sure.
Dick.
Me.
Oh, Blood beat you to it. The next Elden Ring trailer or the next Breath of the Wild 2 trailer?
Oh, the next Elden Ring trailer, because we really don't even know what the heck this thing looks like. I think it's gonna be a big deal to see what this world is like, see what kind of the gameplay is like, see how much it diverges and how much it keeps the same. Whereas, like we've already kind of gotten that glimpse of Breath of the Wild. There are a lot of questions, but I think there's even more questions about Elden Ring.
And Brad, Cyberpunk 2077 for 100 hours on old gen or Just Dance 2021 for 100 hours on next gen?
100 hours?
Cyberpunk, because at least I would laugh at how dumb a lot of thing is. I would get so bored playing Just Dance to those same songs, after a while. Like, man, I'm sick of hearing Katy Perry. I'm sick of this. But at least maybe I'll see Keanu without a face or something, and that'll make me laugh.
All right. Let's get through this patreon.com/EasyAllies plug. And then I'll decide who won that. Let me tell you, wonderful listeners, love and respect or not, about patreon.com/EasyAllies. This is the last podcast that you will listen to in 2020. We did it, ladies and gentlemen.
We did
Yay.
it. Woo.
We did it thanks to patreon.com/EasyAllies. That's where we are primarily supported. I want to invite you to check out all of the tiers. There is a huge library of tiers, and it is a monthly pledge. So if you want to jump in and check out one tier and see if you like receiving fan mail, or see if you like being a part of Love and Respect or Silver Lining on this podcast, maybe we'll do a new segment. Haven't thought of one yet in 2021. Then give it a shot, and then we would definitely appreciate that support, and we definitely appreciate you telling other people about patreon.com/EasyAllies. If you decide maybe you don't want to be at that tier, or you maybe drop down to the $1 tier and just get exclusive shows. Totally understandable. I think the best that we could possibly ask for is that you just go and check it out. Lots of stuff gets posted there that does not get posted on our YouTube channel or on our official website or that we stream on Twitch. So lots of fun things awaiting you on patreon.com/EasyAllies. You can also go there to check out our shout out tier and see the people that are at, the number of people at least that we have at that shout out tier. We're going to shout them out for the last time this year. Ian, you're going first. I'm going second. Brad, you're going third. And Blood, you are going last. Shout out to Caleb Togi Crawford, L. Thanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Jesse Blue, Stephen Thomason, and Nick.
Shout
Shout
out.
out.
Shout out.
Wonderful. Brad, you won.
Yay!
You get to promote any Easy Allies video you'd like to promote. You get the final word on anything you disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped into your head, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign off. Ian, you did it. You did it.
All right.
Been saving that.
I feel I was too harsh on Animal Crossing. The world is super jolly. I can't deny that. Even though that game is not for me, it is a good vibes game, and I see the appeal of it. That's my final word. Promote any video. Any video. Oh, man. So, we're in the future right now, so I don't know what's around. I'll say check out Ben's Cyberpunk review, though. Worked really hard on that. It's a meaty boy. So check it out. It's a good review. And yeah, Ian's an awesome giraffe, or a freaky giraffe right now. So yeah,
For listeners, just so they know.
For listeners,
Ian's
yeah,
trying to
just
steal
so-
Brad's
Right.
thunder.
you don't
True.
want to see it.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it.
And yeah, that's it. Be excellent to each other, everybody. I tested this game before it came out.
You just have to go through life like I do, where you believe yourself to be the arbiter of good,